Hi there, I'm Scott and I'm the host of the podcast Other Record Labels, and today I want to talk about managing a budget. And if you are starting a record label, this is something, the finance side is where a lot of labels get in trouble, and we see that with big labels too. And of course, labels have a reputation from the 80s and 90s of ripping off artists. So managing a budget is really important, and making sure that you keep all of your numbers together, because this is a business. I mean, it's the arts, and so some of us are doing this because we just love music and want to be involved in music, but there's some of us who have bills to pay as well. And so managing a budget is really important. So here's how this relates to running a record label. And I want to remind you, this tip and all of the tips that we're doing in this huge series of 31 tips for starting a record label can be found at otherrecordlabels.com/checklist. It's a checklist I put together for you. There's a link for that in the description below, and subscribe too so you don't miss any of these. But what you want to do is keep track of things using some sort of accounting software or Google. I mean, Google Sheets for me, it's free, and so I use that because accounting software can get a little bit cumbersome, and you might not be at the stage. I mean, there is software for labels, but at this stage, let's keep things minimal and basic. And so using something like Google Sheets just to keep track of your expenses and the revenue, and you can actually link different sheets too. So you can do a different sheet for each artist. And we talked about that in the previous episode when we talked about managing royalties. And you can have sheets for artists that you can share with them, and those can link to a master sheet to show you how much revenue and then profit that you've made from each artist, as well as the expenses that the label has. And maybe the label makes revenue outside of artists, like through merchandise and licensing and that kind of thing. And so you want to keep track and find some software to keep track of that. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is, and this is a passionate thing. I had a boss once talked about the difference of like offense and defense in sports. And think of it this way, making money is like playing offense. It's like scoring goals, but there's two ways to win a football game. It's not just offense, it can also be with defense. And keeping your expenses down is like playing defense. So I want you to kind of put that in your mind as you're running this label, because you might be thinking, well, we're going to make money, we're going to license this to this film, or we're going to get on this playlist, or we're going to sell all these records. But every opportunity that you can to keep your expenses low is a great opportunity, is essentially like a penny saved is a penny earned. You remember that? And that's basically like, it's another way for you to succeed, is to find ways to like save money and to keep your expenses down. And I think that the artists are going to be really worried that you're going to be jacking up big expenses that might not be unnecessary. And so they're going to be really excited for you to keep expenses down. So just keep that in the back of your mind. It's not just about making money, it's about keeping your expenses down. This is something that I, as an artist and a label, really focused on when it came to recording, is that you might think, wow, this mastering engineer is $120 a song. That means that the 10-song album is going to cost us $1,200 to master. And so that puts a lot of pressure on selling a lot of records to make that money back in mastering. And I don't want to discredit mastering engineers, but there's also really cheap ways to get your record mastered, or maybe you upload an album that isn't mastered because that's just where you're at as an artist or as a label. But keeping those expenses down is a great way to for the artist to make a profit in the end. So just keep that in mind. Keep your receipts for everything. I actually just got into taking pictures of the receipts and uploading them to Dropbox and then throwing the receipts away. That's, I think, legal. So, but just make sure you keep your receipts for everything and keep things open and transparent all the time. Make sure your books and your royalty rates and everything is transparent. I am not great at budgeting. I'm not great at paying royalties. I make a lot of mistakes that a lot of labels make. But I will always allow somebody to open up the books and take a look. That should be something that's built into your agreement or your contract, that artists can really like come over and log into CD Baby and look at how much money they've made, and be as open and transparent as you can. And I think that's going to solve a lot of problems down the road. So I hope you found this helpful. This is a huge topic, the financial side of things. Make sure you reach out to some other labels to get some advice. Talk to an accountant, talk to a family member who's smart with this. Maybe bring someone onto the label who's good with finances to help you out with this. I can't get into everything, but what I do want to emphasize is that the money is really where things can go sour, much like the contracts. So just try to be open and transparent. Try to be really relaxed about it, but show the artist that you're aware of everything, and that you're not dropping the ball when it comes to money. Get this and all of the tips that we're putting together, otherrecordlabels.com/checklist. Thanks for watching.